Hey, and we are live. Appreciate you checking out the video. Yeah, so I have a couple minis here that I just primed. And yeah, I'm gonna try the slap chop method. I got this dragon, not dragons, but I got this dragon that I'm working on, kind of trying out some different stuff. I just slapped on some a wash for this, but I don't know, not noticing the difference, so I think I'm gonna have to just do lots of blending to kind of get some of the effects that I was wanting. Um, or maybe more wash. I don't know. We'll find out. But so I want to try the slap chop method. Got these two little guys here. Uh, both of these from Eldritch Foundry. I have a subscription now, so I'll be printing out a bunch more stuff. But uh, yeah, I figured I'd try this out. I think I actually have a third one. Let me see about that. So yeah, if you're into D&D and miniature painting, all that jazz, let me know in the comments your go-to type of style. If you're a DM, if you have any things that you're working on right now, love to bounce around ideas. I'm all for this. So anyone who enters the chat, feel free to bounce around any ideas. And yeah, that's kind of the main thing for this video. I have a few ideas to just kind of rattle off, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so there we go. Get this guy. Let's go ahead, get him primed as well, and let's see how this goes. So yeah, this one I actually designed and printed myself. So yeah, got the one primed too. Let's slap this on there. Got this from Adepticon. Just went there last weekend, and it's a cool little stand to kind of help you hold the mini, all that good stuff. So yeah, I was doing some paint and take in what they call the Hobby Lounge. Pretty cool area in Adepticon, and yeah, they just walked around. Just so happened to be at the right time, the right place. They walked around and handed those out. Like, here you go, happy Adepticon, have it for free. I'm like, oh, thank you, cool, sweet. So yeah, now I just need to prime this thing, and then let it dry, and I'm gonna work on. Can I steal it? Steal what? I'm sorry. What you trying to steal? Okay, so I got to prime this. Take collection. I mean, I have enough. I actually want to. The goal will be eventually to still all right. I don't have enough of that. That's taken. But yeah, I have a bunch of minis, and I have a 3D printer, and now I have a Eldritch Foundry subscription. So I'm trying to eventually work up and kind of build a community up and just do giveaways, do free things, do raffles, just all kinds of fun stuff, like, yeah, that'll be awesome. That'll be fun. But, I gotta build a community first, and then that kind of stuff can happen. So, be fun eventually when it gets to that point. What you want to buy? Yeah, if you need some minis printed or something like that, yeah, let me know. I could certainly do that. I'm not the best painter, but yeah, I'm trying to get better at it. So if you're needing commission painting, oh, goodness, I don't know about that. I got friends who can do that. So if you have the money, they are more than happy to work with you on getting some minis commissioned and painted and all that good stuff. This, I'm just doing a quick little base coat on. I'm gonna try what's called the slap chop method, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. Paint in here. Um, there might be some out there. Yeah, that's a possibility to get one of those. um, yeah, I'm unskilled to do it on a regular basis. It's just a fun hobby right now. Uh, Eventually, it'll be cool to actually make some money from it and stuff. But yeah, just a fun hobby kind of do on the side. I'm a photographer and videographer full time. Uh, Freelance life, that sort of thing. And so, yeah, this is just a fun thing I like to do to kind of unwind a little bit and kind of hang out. So, but yeah, so figured I'd go live, slap on a base coat for this, and then let that dry. So, I got a few brushes here. So I'll go ahead and get a dry brush, get that going. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Um, that's a possibility. Yeah. There's a website called My Mini Factory. They have a bunch of the files are called STLs. I don't know how much you know about 3D printing. Sorry if I'm dumbing it down too much. But the STLs, so you mainly go on there, look around and see what they got. And so, yeah, it's typically like $7, $8, $9 or whatever for the STL. You get a 3D print, 3D printer, whether it's your own or you can try it out at the local library or something like that. A lot of times, if it's a decent sized library, it actually be for free, which is cool. And yeah, you can do all sorts of 3D printing there. So let's see, sorry, all the reference. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right. Dry brush. Yes. So, yeah. Yeah. Go check out your library if you have a local one that's a decent size. They a lot of times they have them in there for free. But yeah, My Mini Factory is a great resource to check out. I would be surprised if they don't have Dante's Infernal stuff. Not Dante's Infernal. Sorry, Devil May Cry Dante. That dude. Um, yeah, I'd be surprised if they didn't have Dante. And they probably have dioramas, which I'm not that level yet, but eventually that'd be cool. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, and so people make some like Pokemon dioramas, and I'm like, those are freaking cool. So eventually I'll get that point. That'd be cool, but yeah, not there just yet. But so right now I'm going to what's called the slapchop method. So what you do is you get a little bit of paint and do what's called a dry brush. So essentially, you get some paint on this, and let's go here, let it dry. Okay, and just a matter of getting some paint on, kind of wearing off the brush a little bit, which sounds like an interesting thing to do. Is I'm sorry, make sure I'm on camera. Anything Pokemon? Yeah. Pokemon's cool. Huge fan of it. There's some Pokemon dioramas out there which look awesome, and yeah, it's insane the stuff that people come up with. Yeah, if you have the time, check out like Pokemon 3D printed diorama on Instagram. There's a lot of cool stuff that people come up with, and it's insane. So, but yeah, just doing some dry brushing on this because it's part of the slap chop method, where you paint the whole thing black and then you slap on some paint to kind of give it the highlights, and you just work through the whole thing. This brush is kind of too new a little bit, so it may not be the right brush to be using, but we'll find out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you happen to go on my 3D, My Mini Factory, and if you see any Dante's from Devil May Cry, if you see any cool stuff you want printed, um, yeah, drop a comment on one of my videos, and I'll see if I can check it out. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram, same handle that I am here. Um, and yeah, shoot me a message, and we can chat about seeing about how getting it printed for you. And if you want, I can try to paint it. It would take some time, Sorry, my neighbor's honking at something. And so yeah, I'm willing to try it, but yeah, just all depends on how long you want to wait and all that good stuff. But yeah, so just trying to do some dry brushing on this thing, which this might need be the best kind of paint, but we'll see what happens. All experimenting, all trying this stuff out, seeing how it all works. They're having fun with their horn next door. But yeah, um, yeah. So I do 3D printing stuff. I'm trying out getting better and better at painting. But my main hobby right now is Dungeons and Dragons. I DM 2 different games, and we had a game session last night, and it was pretty fun. I think the guys liked it. It's a pretty fun time. Since it was an April Fool session, I went crazy and did something very unique, and went ahead. And at the end of the session, they were fighting an archfey from the Fey realm, and it's actually this dude who essentially is a laughing stock. No one, he's not very powerful. He's a joke, but one day out of the year, he's actually pretty powerful, and that day happens to be April Fool's Day. So it's just a homebrew thing that I wrote, and he, so the party was fighting him for a little bit. They ended up banishing him back to the Fey realm, and yeah, at the end they were still near. They're in like this like forest that was being affected by the Fey realm, kind of like the energies of the Fey realm were feeding into this forest, and the chaos magic that the archfiend uses. Um, he, even though he was banished, I had it written out that the energies were still around, and my party ended up. How do I explain this? So the players ended up essentially getting kind of sucked into the game. So kind of like Jumanji or the typical video game kind of thing where the players are brought into the game. That's kind of what I did. I had them uh, now playing as themselves in the Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So they were like, "Do we know we're like players in this?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, yeah, of course, yeah." And then realized, "Oh crap, that's gonna backfire," because they are, well, they've played for a while and they know what's going on and everything. So they were like, essentially telling this NPC that he's an NPC in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, like blowing his mind, almost like AI, and finding out that it's AI. Like you've heard those stories or whatever of that happening. Essentially, that kind of concept. Um, and so that was funny, just for that to kind of play out. It was not intended that at all, but yeah. So it should be very interesting how the next session goes. Because I have no clue what to expect. Because I don't know what they're going to do. Like right now, they are players that are well versed to the fact that they are in a game, but they aren't that powerful. Um, I'm working on getting a reason in game for them to be like essentially proficient in their weapons. They aren't going to have good armor or nothing like that. Probably not that good of health right now. So it's a lot of writing homebrew stuff on my own. I'm supposed to do it beforehand, but just ended up not happening. I was streaming a little bit longer than I was intended to, just because of things that were happening. Uh, so yeah, I gotta write some stuff for next session. Give them all character sheets that kind of make sense for each player. Um, One dude is a strong dude who goes to the gym quite often. So my idea is that he is going to be the strong tank of the group, essentially. Um, there is one dude who is pretty business savvy type guy, jack of all trades kind of person. My idea with that is going to be, uh, I would assume still a wizard, um, because that's his character, and so a decent, intelligence stat, or maybe charisma. Well, probably intelligence. Yeah, charisma or intelligence, and have that be the spell effect for his Dungeons and Dragons game for his character that he's playing as. And then another player is a bard, so I gotta write a character sheet for him that is himself the player as his character in game. So should be fun. It's gonna be a lot of homebrew stuff, a lot of writing, but it's the stuff I enjoy about D&D. So yeah, how you doing? How's it going? Welcome in. Thanks for joining. Just doing some dry brushing. Um, Trying to find the right brush here. The one I was using was not quite what I was needing. Let's try this one. So doing what's called a slapchop method. So the first part is coating the base coat with black and then doing a dry brush with white over it. And then slapping on contrast paints. There we go, that's a little better. So yeah, just doing some dry brushing real quick. I see a lot of videos talking about the slap chop method, so I figured I'd try it out. We'll see how it goes. For me, you can see it live, how it all goes on. So one of the things I was thinking about live is kind of just different ideas. So one of the ideas that I have is utilizing these minis. There's this little rabbit character. There's this cat guy. I don't want to knock him down. He's like a cat humanoid. There's a turtle humanoid guy. Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? He's somewhere around here. Dang it, I lost him. There's this owl humanoid guy. So my D&D party right now, they just finished up some pretty like heavier type stuff, I guess you can say. So they just fought their way out of a spooky castle, werewolves, uh, ghosts, a vampire lord, that whole thing. Um, so I kind of wanted to lighten up the next few sessions. I mean, well, this next one definitely, because they're now sucked into the game as opposed to characters that they made. They're now playing as themselves in game. So that should be fun. I gotta figure that whole thing out. But when they get back into it, one of the ideas I have is something like more lighthearted, kind of fun, goofy stuff. Is having an adventuring party that they encounter at some point, being like these like humanoid, anthropomorphic animals. So they'll probably. I haven't decided if I want them to be heroes or a band of villains or something like that. But essentially, um, they will all be fighting a rabbit, a cat, a turtle, and a owl. So in these humanoid kind of goofy thing. My first thoughts right now is that they're going to come across a small town, and either the small town is going to be thankful to these heroes that just saved the day. And so it's like, wow, okay, cool. Like, who are these people? We want to know who these people are. This would be cool. It's exciting. Uh, and then they meet them, and they're small little woodland creatures that kind of uh, underestimate them, and then kind of find out like yes, they are the awesome heroes that they more than meets the eye. That's kind of the gist of it. Kind of the initial idea, and kind of piggybacking off of that. So I got all the minis at Adepticon that I just went to last weekend. So yeah, now I just got to write out uh, that fun adventure, see how it all goes. Uh, yeah, just a fun idea I had because some of the sessions have been a little bit heavier, a little bit more serious about stuff of like vampires and werewolves and more heavier tone, gothic theme things. So yeah, I try my best to keep it not too heavy on a one thing, uh, especially the players kind of, they can take it or leave it. They're cool with some, but if the whole adventure, the whole campaign is that kind of style, they might get bored of it. So I try my best to keep things interesting, keep things different and unique. So yeah. Uh, so yeah, I got to think of names for each of these guys, and I got to think of. Uh, oh, that's too much paint. Good golly. Got to think of names. Got to think of stat blocks and everything for who these heroes are going to be, or villains. I'm also considering that maybe they get to the town and they are afraid of these bandits that are attacking this town. So the hero's like, you know what? We're gonna save the day. We got this. And then they meet, and it's a group of an owl, a cat, a rabbit, And so they kind of like same kind of thing, like underestimate them. All right, this is nothing, and then kind of find out like, no, these dudes mean business. They know what they're doing. They're ratherly good, powerful team of heroes. So or villains, sorry, villains or heroes. We'll see. But that's kind of the idea, the initial concept. So we'll see how it all plays out, see how it all works. Um, it's still going to be a bit before I implement that because of the fact that the players are now sucked into the game. So yeah, that's going to be the first thing we have to kind of sort through and see how it all works out. But should be a good time. Should be a good time. So lots of dry brushing on these guys. So nothing too exciting right now. I'm gonna try the contrast paints once I get this all finished. Got this little guy. Let him slap him on there. Okay. So it might help a little bit just because of its. But yeah, so if they are villains, I like the idea of the players going to the small town, uh, first going in, and the town is kind of scared and kind of on edge. So maybe they're greeted with some hostility, or just whether at combat or what's it called, or a social encounter where they kind of have to uh, work their way to get some more of this information. Um, we'll see how that goes. If it's a villain group of bandits, I'm thinking they meet them and they have to, uh, yeah, maybe social encounter. Maybe the sheriff or whoever of this town greets the party first, uh, and apprehensive to give out information, or just on the offense, and starts attacking them or something. That could be a cool thing, which is a quick combat encounter. But I kind of like the idea of a social encounter or skill challenge first. It would probably lean closer to a social encounter. Uh, That way, it's a little different. I don't always like to throw just combat, combat, combat. I like to make sure it's a variety of stuff. Um, so, social encounter to get more information to see what's going on. They find out that these this local bandit group has been shaking them down for money, essentially like the whole security thing. We'll keep your town safe, aka not attack it if you pay us. Uh, I'm probably thinking a three-part. So then they also they do a social encounter. They maybe then it's skill challenge. So they have to go and infiltrate this bandit camp. They think it's you know these tough dudes, a bandit of orcs or something like that, because maybe for whatever reason, uh, the I want it to be kind of a surprise of the fact that these are essentially woodland creatures, rabbit, cat, owl, that sort of thing. I want that to kind of be a surprise to the party. So keeping that a little bit close to the chest, I think that would be fun. That'd be a fun thing to kind of like work through and kind of a fun reveal near the end once the combat starts. Kind of describing the setting. Once they get there, they see these beings stand in front of them, or they see them sleeping, or whatever it might be. If they get the jump on them, if they go and seek out the camp, then it's a skill challenge to give them the upper hand in the battle. That could be pretty fun. And then if they finish that, they get surprise round, which is good sometimes. B, maybe they're able to steal some of the weapons, and so it takes them a turn or two to actually kind of get things set up for the battle themselves. These villains, and yeah. So this one needs to go with it. You can also go the typical superhero kind of idea of these are heroes, but it's a misunderstanding. Like you jump to the gun, like who are these things? Like okay, you're probably not around. Like what's going on? Who are you? Why are you attacking the city? Like they. So there's a little bit of combat, a little bit of hostility there. I don't know what the end goal would be. So they fight, and then what? Like. So drop in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. What should be kind of the next step? If it's the heroes versus heroes, whoever wins, because the party doesn't always have to win. Maybe the adventurers, the party themselves, the players, maybe they one of the persons gets knocked unconscious, and then like, all right, let's call it off. Let's be done. They don't have to kill the whole party. It gives them time to kind of give aid, essentially, or whatever. Um, yeah. So that's what I've done before, especially when it's lower groups, lower level party. Um, I tell them that, like, yeah, it's still gonna be a challenge. There's still the possibility of death, but I'm not trying to kill the party. Usually ever, unless it's part of the storyline. There was a storyline where I wanted the party to be uh, killed off, and then they go into the underworld, and then they have to kind of like earn their way back to life. That was a fun thing. They were pretty upset with me because I wanted to be a surprise, wanted to kind of spring on them. So they weren't too happy whenever I was all out attacking them in battle, and it was getting pretty bad. So they weren't too happy about that. But um, yeah. But when they realized what's going on, when they realized it wasn't anything horrible, that it wasn't just a TPK, okay, write new characters, there was something involved. They were okay with it. They kind of they came around. So All right, so let's do this contrast paint. Let's get that out of the way. Let's do this. So funny enough, I got a brown contrast paint, but I don't know what I want to make brown. I guess I could do this guy's backpack. That could work. Let's try that. Okay. So yeah, as I mentioned, seen the slapchop method quite a few times being talked about. I've yet to try it. Got some paints, primed it. Now I got some contrast paints, and let's see how it goes. Hope for the best. If you're someone who's done the slapchop method quite a few times, let me know. I'm intrigued to know what things work for you, what things don't. Uh, what do you like? What don't you like? So here we go. So just slapping on some brown there. Let's go ahead and do this as well. Let's give it a little more contrast here. Make it a wooden shield. Get the backpack. I want that silver. That makes sense to go a little brown there. Probably realistically, that's all I need brown. It's just the little bits. I like that. It's cool. It's cool. As I mentioned, first time trying this, so just winging it. I've seen videos on it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I do think I need to buy some more contrast paints, different colors and stuff. So, but I figured I'd try it out, see how it goes first, before I invest in too much. Let's see what's next here. So we got him. Let's go ahead and definitely get the hilt of his sword. Definitely want that brown. What else we got? That should be silver. Lots of silver. Lots of silver. Maybe his hair. I guess technically his hair should be white. So I'd probably leave that as is. Let's go with his face. Get some skin color there. Should I make the rock brown? Does that make sense? Yeah, why the heck not? Why the heck not? Kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't. But, oh, his shoes. His shoes would have made sense to make brown. But essentially just trying it out. With this, I can just paint it over a different color if I don't like it. So I want his shoes brown as well. I mentioned that. His boots. Let's get that. Let's slap some more on there. See what I did there. But yeah, so I had those two ideas. Like those anthropomorphic heroes or villains. Still undecided. Still got time to figure that out. To see what kind of just what would be a better story. I kind of like the heroes thing. Uh, make them heroes. Get the kind of misinformed, jump to the gun sort of thing. You know, I like that. I haven't done that in my games. You know, granted, it's done a bunch in the comics and in comic book movies and stuff like that. When heroes first meet each other, kind of add some tension and all that good stuff. So, okay. So that's drying there. I'm gonna keep the hair white. Okay. So So yeah, I probably should have more contrast paints, but I need to get a shade, or I need to get base coats, and I need to get a wash just to try it out. So yeah, let's see here. His skin, maybe. His shield should be silver. He's got some silver there. He's got the well, let's give it the hilt. Weapons. Easy peasy choice with that. Okay. Um, yeah, silver there. I'm thinking a splash of color with that. The cape. Don't I got the cape brown? No, not the wings. Guess I could go brown. I got yeah. Why not? Let's do it with the wings. Why the heck not? Let's go with it. He seems to be a not an angelic type of hero off the bat, so I can give him some kind of more animal style of wings. Let's make it brown, and we'll see how it goes. My other D&D party, I have got canceled this week. I got to figure out a plan for them because they just essentially wrapped on their story arc. Um, I have to come up with a handful of kind of questline options, things they want to do, because I like to make it more sandbox kind of style of game. Occasionally, I'll have the fun idea that I want to try out. I want to have fun too as a DM. But I always make sure I try to make sure in the end it's not at their expense. So the closest to that was that, TPK, where they went to the underworld, closest part of it. But realistically, it was a fun thing. It was something unique, something different, something uh, not too much done in D&D. Like after the TPK, you send them to the underworld and they got to fight back to their bodies, that sort of thing. So um, that was the closest. But in the end, I kind of warned them, like, hey, this is not always going to happen. I'm not trying to steamroll you into this, but just a fun idea I had. I'd love to try it out. So, yeah, I rarely do that, but it was a fun time for that. So now I got to come up with a handful of options for them to try out next session. Um, and yeah, should be interesting to see how it all plays out. I'll probably come up with like 6 options, maybe. Probably 6 seems like a good number. We'll find out. Kind of like essentially like a D6 kind of roll of table on questline options. See what they want to do because I like the sandbox idea where essentially it's an open world and they can go do what the heck they want to do. I like to do my best to give them guidance and do what I can to kind of help them out as needed. Play the characters, of course, but I'm not one to do the whole uh, train ride, railroad kind of game. It's not my style for the most part. There's moments, but for the most part, I try my best to do uh, something more uh, open world sandbox type game. So, but yeah, so yeah, that's slapchop method. It looks pretty cool. Look, I think it worked out. It's kind of it dried a little bit more. I'm gonna slap another layer of that. Okay, so yeah, kind of worked out there. Darken that up a little bit. Darken up his backpack. Okay, yeah, seems decent enough. You slap some silver on him. This, I guess I could go brown with the coat. I could go brown with this. How about that? But yeah, so if you're a DM, drop in the comments kind of what's going on with your game. What quests have you done recently that your party has liked and not liked? Interested to hear some different ideas, different things from what players have gone through, and or if you're a player, yeah, and there's a small chance that your DM is going to see this video and see your comment. So, let me know again things that you did like, things that you don't like from recent quests and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'd love to hear kind of different ideas, bounce around ideas, all that good stuff. So, that's about it. I'm gonna end it here. It's been cool, and I gotta get some more contrast paints because it looks cool. I like the start of it, kind of that comic book style. So, yeah, that's about it. Thanks again, and have an awesome day.